If you can see behind me right now, you're probably looking at this map. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cover the new build areas that are around Pensacola, because Pensacola really isn't putting too much in. Kind of give you guys a guide as to where to move if you are looking for that new build product. Let's go. What we'd like to do on this channel is expose you everything in the Emerald Coast, Pensacola, all the way down to Destin. So if that's content that you do want to continue to follow, do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, maybe give us a thumbs up, notification bell, that way you're notified every single time that we put out a brand new video. Also, if you are planning on relocating into the Emerald Coast, give us a call or text the phone number right below. Right below right there, we always answer, it doesn't matter date or time. I'm sure you guys have noticed that we have been doing a lot of map videos. It's because you've been telling us that you do love this. You kind of love that direction. You're visual just like I am, where it's like, all right, cool. If I want to move into Pensacola, where should I be? So the first thing that we're really going to cover, because a lot of these developments are outside of Pensacola, why is Pensacola not building new builds like the rest of these areas are?
I think the quick answer to that is just, Pensacola has become so popular that our population is increasing, and Pensacola doesn't have a lot of space left. It's very developed, a lot of good stuff in there, but as far as the new develops to accommodate everybody that's coming into town, they're really developing all along the outskirts here. A lot of stuff going in and all, Milton, Pace, Cantonment, Beulah. Lots of good new builds going on around there. We still have great access to the beach, easy access to downtown Pensacola, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of new builds popping up right in the center of Pensacola.
Yeah, guys, I highly recommend you go check out. What we did is we talked about a few neighborhoods that are in Pensacola that are older. Go check that out, and it'll give you an idea why they're not putting too many new builds there. It is pretty dense already, and so it's like, all right, where would you even put something in? That's why Trent already mentioned that, we're seeing stuff in all these outlying cities and why they're popping up like crazy. One that keeps coming up that you guys are always talking about is Beulah. Can you kind of hit on Beulah a little bit, how they're not only are they putting a lot of houses there, but a lot of development as well, to make sure that you don't even have to leave Beulah unless you plan on going to the beach.
Yeah, Beulah's really up and coming. It's getting really popular. It's going to be right over here. And, a couple of things about Beulah, a lot of developments going in out there, a lot of vegetation out there, pretty scenery, but still got really good access to downtown and the beach. When you're in Beulah, you could follow the interstate up here. Where am I? You can follow the interstate up here straight down to 110, taking you straight south to the beach. You could get to the beach from Beulah in half an hour. Downtown, 20 minutes or so, really easy to do. But if you're not wanting to go that way, they've got grocery stores out there. They just put in the new Navy Federal out there. Brand new athletic complex, I think, is scheduled, if it hasn't already opened, to open in the next couple of weeks. A lot of good stuff out there for all the residential communities that are going in.
And he said they're going to Wawa, right? Because that's something that I love about South Florida.
Somewhere, I'm not sure where yet, but right here along Highway 90, there will be a Wawa in the future.
Before we get too much ahead of ourselves, the big thing that we're seeing is a lot of you are choosing new build. Why is it that you are choosing new builds? Well, Trent's going to hit on a few of those right now.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is these new builds, they're offering a lot of incentives. They're offering a lot of choices. They're offering sometimes a way for people to get into a house that wouldn't normally be able to get into a house with the current interest rates or the current down payments and anything that may hold you back. Sometimes you can beat that with some of the new builds and what they're offering.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing is like interest rates, obviously, because a lot of these builders are buying the rates down. I think you just said that they were looking at like 5.5%, right around there. Like I said, this is, September of 2023, so make sure you are looking at that. We are talking about these interest rates, but the interest rate is lower. But something else that Trent kind of mentioned before we were doing this video is they also do stuff like hurricane proof, right? These houses are going to be a lot more hurricane proof as opposed to something that's a resale down closer into Pensacola.
Yeah, some of the standards now for building, they have the hurricane clips for the roof. They'll have the hurricane impact windows. A lot of these things can save you monthly in your insurance. So, going with a new build, in addition to possibly having a lower interest rate or having some of your closing costs paid for on your monthlies, can help pay for lower premium on your insurance.
If you're not familiar with the Pensacola area, I'm actually from Denver, so there are some different builders here. Some similar ones as well, too, as opposed to somewhere where you might be coming from. Can you kind of hit on a few of the builders that are down in Pensacola?
Yeah, so some of the main ones that I'm seeing that have a lot of developments going on, we've got D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton's spread out all over, a lot going on in Beulah. I know they've got a big development coming into Northern Pace up here, some townhomes down in Gulf Breeze. Holiday Builders has got a lot going on. Holiday Builders is spread out. There's some over in Milton. in between Pace and Milton here, back over Cantonment. Another builder is Adams Homes. And Flynn Built. Flynn Built's got a lot of stuff going on. I was just in a community for Flynn Built going in. It's also in Northern Pace up on 10 Mile. You know, different standards for them, different incentives. You know, something to look into. Each one kind of offers something different. Some may have a better interest rate or a little bit more towards closing costs. Others may offer the ability to choose things such as, you know, the colors, the material on your siding, your flooring, bathrooms, whatnot.
Now I'm about to throw a curveball here to Trent because I didn't speak to him about this beforehand. Are these new builds having basements?
I have not seen a basement yet.
That's quite like, so I come from a place where 99% of the houses have basements, and so I was just curious listening to him talk about some of these new builds. Basements is a huge deal, but it's not quite a thing here in Florida.
Yeah, I don't ever want to say never. And growing up, I had a couple of friends whose houses had basements, but it's extremely rare. And I personally have not set foot in a new build yet that's had one.
All right. Another big thing what we had with new builders where I came from was master plans, right? Every community pretty much had, you know, a new pool that was going to the community, gym, and all that stuff. Are we seeing master plans with some of these new builders, or is that something that really doesn't happen?
Yeah, I've seen some master plans with D.R. Horton, and it's not going to be every community that they do, but a few of their communities do. They have a pool for everybody in the community to use. They have you know, barbecue, gazebos, things to congregate under, facilities, gyms like stuff. So D.R. Horton is offering some of that. I haven't seen that with some of the other builders yet. I'm still looking to see. They may have something like that coming, but I haven't seen it.
Another thing we really want to hit on is we're seeing that a lot of people are choosing these outlying areas to Pensacola because they want a little bit of a buffer from a hurricane. You know, you're still really in the Gulf Coast. You're not going to be 100% protected from that hurricane, but the damage might not be as severe as, say, if you're somewhere like, you know, Gulf Breeze or even Pensacola over here.
Yeah, a lot. Like we said earlier, most of the new communities are going out to these surrounding areas, you know, up north and coming across here. So we're always going to have a threat of a hurricane. You know, there's going to be lots of wind. There will be some damage. But when you get into the storm surge and the flooding and some of that stuff, I don't think there's going to be as much of a threat with where some of these new communities are going. I'm not seeing a lot of new communities coming up down here along the coastline or you know, into Gulf Breeze. So when you're thinking about that, you know, it's another plus to go into these new communities because most of them are going to be out of that real threat zone.
Now, I'm sure the biggest question all of you are asking is, guess what? I'm moving down into the Pensacola area. I want access to that beach. What kind of time frame am I looking for? What is that drive going to look like, driving from these different cities to the beach?
Yeah, so I know I touched on it a little bit earlier, but again, I like to go back to how smooth it is, I think, from Beulah and Cantonment. Nothing wrong with Pace and Milton. These are awesome areas to be in. But when you're talking about proximity to the beach, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get there. When you're coming from Beulah or Cantonment, you got a quick shot to the interstate. You shoot south on 110 and you can be at the beach in half an hour. Probably going to be looking at more 40, 45 minutes when you're coming up from Milton and Pace, just because, you know, you have to travel through. You can either go south and go Garcon Point, or you have to come all the way around here, go through Pensacola and come back down. It's not a bad drive. It's actually kind of pretty coming across the bridge here and going along Scenic Highway where you can see the water, but time will take a little bit longer.
All right, cool guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you do have insights or stuff that you want to learn more about in regards to these new builds, do us a huge favor and comment down below. Also, if this is content that you want to follow, give us a hit on that subscribe button. Maybe hit that notification bell. Give us a thumbs up. That way you're notified every single time that we put out a brand new video. If you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, give us a call or text the phone number right below. Right below right there. Hopefully I'm pointing in the right spot. This camera angle's throwing me off a little bit. We always answer. It doesn't matter date or time. Until next time, we love you. Bye. All right, if you're not familiar with the Pensacola area, like I said, I am currently, or